Thanks for talking to us again, Konstantin. Last time, obviously, it was quite early days for the war. We were talking about business continuity, resilience, the way that your IT organizations in the country are coping. So perhaps we can go over similar ground and just talk about the situation now. We're over 6 months into this situation now. How is your business continuity coping at the moment? The issues change, don't they?
Yes. Hi, Brian. So maybe the main thing we should tell now. So now we're in the new military realities. Ukrainian export presents a stable and expanding sector of the national economy. It's again maybe for someone is unexpected, but for us is exactly this exactly means that we have passed the most, let's say, challenging period, the start of the war, when we were tested, like how we can manage this situation, how we can manage people, how we can manage business at all. And now, so as you might remember, during March 2021, the first month of the war, the IT industry maintained 96% of computer service export compared to the similar period last year. And for the first half, now we have passed the first half of 2021, 2022. We have like export-oriented in IT industry. We provided $3.7 billion of export. It's 23% more than for the same period of the previous year. And so our tech has demonstrated the wide margins of safety by no means. And during these months of the war, the IT industry has managed not only to maintain its operational activities as well and pay taxes on time, but also actively support the armed forces and the government. And I'm telling about people who is fighting on the front line. Yeah, we just discussed it before. So it's about up to 5% of IT people, man. But what is the new figure? And of course, cyber front line. Also, a lot of projects, a lot of teams working I say hundreds of teams working on the cyber issues. But what is also important and new figures. So according to our information, national IT companies made donations for more than 1 billion to charitable foundations and on various humanitarian purposes. So I mean, it's $1 billion.
Right.
I mean dollars, and it's not exactly calculated because each month, each day, this amount is growing. Still, we have, I'd like to say, we have we provide strong support to the economy of the country, and we have provide strong support for the people, for the working places. We keep working places, and we keep this support and donations for military and humanitarian purposes. So, and regarding companies and businesses, so most companies have managed to save customers and their contracts despite all the risks. And still we have quite positive picture of this. Let's see what will be going on. But anyway, more than half of companies confirm that they have at least up to 100% of their contracts still here. Of course, we have some changes and we have some, let's say, approaches from the customer side, like trying to decrease the risk and asking to move projects to other countries, other locations as well, of course. But mainly the situation, if it will remains like more or less like this, we have more safer regions and people working from western part of Ukraine in more safe conditions, so we can keep it. So it's in general, and maybe I would like to underline some factors why we keep customers, because we ask companies why do your customers with you, still with
Right.
you.
Right.
And again, you remember the first 2 weeks, it was incredibly hard to understand what will be next
Yes.
period with the customers, with the contracts, in general, with the IT and tech, in general, in any sector. In general, about Ukraine, we were thinking what will be. But now the factors, what really key, customers, high level of customer loyalty as it's most important. They stay with Ukraine, and recently, yesterday, yesterday, uh, we had a press conference with the Kobe city mayor, Japan, where we opened one of our member. They opened an office, a representative office, physically in Kobe city.
Okay.
And again, it is a strong, let's say, strong willing of Japanese customers work and support Ukraine. This is the illustration of point one, high level of customer loyalty. Yeah? Of course, long-term partnership, because customers know us well, know companies, know the quality, the delivery, and main thing, they know people, because people is the core and important. So, and delivery stability is the third one, because we didn't fail. We haven't got any signs, wrong signs about something's going wrong, huh? Like in the projects, in new projects, in launching projects. And this is important. Of course, persistent communication and open and very fair communication. If something's going bad, we tell this. If something's going good, going better, we also share this with our customers, clients. Of course, I think that another important thing is fast stabilization of business processes, because just we were in some turmoil, period of turmoil, but after that it will be stabilized. And of course, prompt relocation of teams and resumption of operating activities where it's possible or needed, because not always this is needed, but mostly it's desirable, or let's say from the customer side, it's like an even request. And of course, high social responsibility of companies, because the main thing and basis that people should be in safe place, people safety and business process safety. So these two combined things works perfectly, because people feel the approach of the management, the approach of the stakeholders, and customers as well. And so it gives some synergy and understanding that we should overcome together without any harm to the business, of course. And of course, high quality of services, even in times of war. I would put it on the first, but I put it in the first high level of customers loyalty. Of course, it is the main thing, on which we base other issues. And I should tell you about the reasons for the loss of customers as well, because some companies really lost. And so first of all, it's geopolitical risks and security. Some corporate customers, big enterprise, have internal policies, and they have decisions to cancel work with customers from other, let's say, risky locations. And Ukraine, unfortunately, now in the same situations. And some customers change their development strategy. Some customers, how to say, afraid of some potential loss of access to the people, to the teams due to the war. But the main thing is risks caused by infrastructure problem, possible infrastructure problem, security, data security, maybe. But it's not, essentially, it's not, how to say, we have no problem with this because long before the war, we have our mainly companies have, how to say, have diversified these risks regarding the data access, etc., and cybersecurity to the customers' data. But now, you know, in general, we have war on our territory. So this is the main risk for any business. So this is like this. And of course, our resiliency is stronger now. And maybe the expert figures confirm this. But we also understand that things will change. And how these things will change depends on the situation on the front line and general situation in the country.
That's very interesting. Thank you for that, Konstantin. A couple of things just to sort of pursue there. Then can I ask if you, have you got a perception that new work has come in as well? So you've maintained a lot of contracts, which is clearly a good news story. Last time we were talking about the fact that the international community could support through maybe doing new contracts with your organizations. How's that panned out?
Yes, now we are collecting data regarding the new contracts, etc. More detailed information. We just provided some surveys periodically. Now we're on the, let's say, middle way to get the new data. So, but in general, I can share with you such information that a lot of vacancies on the market exist as well in Ukrainian internal market. But a lot of vacancies also exist outside Ukraine in European countries. And we should say that relocation is the key. I mean, the relocation before war and some part of relocation of people after the war started, mainly women. And this is an important trend because industry adopted to the situation by relocating some key personnel and key people. And again, new contracts will be safe because we have resources spread over the countries, over the world, let's say, because offices, one of our members, for example, have now 9 offices, 8 or 9 offices in Poland, one company.
Right.
So previously, before war, it was, let's say, 3 offices. So they open new locations for people to work. It's one of the example. And still, we up to 15%, up to 17 maybe percent of people relocated. They work abroad, and this is the issue whether they will return or not. But for business, it doesn't matter because they can work remotely as before. Yeah. But for country, it's important whether they return or not, as like taxpayers and tax residence issue. But it's another, I would say, another story.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
And what is also interesting thing that many Ukrainian IT companies, as they have international presence, yeah, now due to the strong brand of Ukraine, it works positively on business development, on hiring people, and I mean maybe this is one of the, let's say, competitive advantage here, because we prove our level of internal corporate culture, yeah, and our approaches, business processes, professional skills. I mean, people who will join from other countries, people who will join this Ukrainian, let's say, companies, they will, it's interesting for them as well to change, how to say, to change their mind, and know more, to know more about how it works in our modern business processes here. So I mean, so now companies become more international each month.
Interesting. Just thinking of, particularly about the people that are working in these areas now. I remember you said last time around 5% of those that were in IT are supporting the military effort now. Has that gone up because you're doing a lot more on the cybersecurity side, or cyber? You don't have to be too specific here, but just in general terms, has that increased, do you think?
No. I think in general, people who's directly fighting on the front line, more or less the same quantity. Of course, a lot of people, how to say, they join armed forces, but mostly in the first period of the war. Right. All people who have experience, military experience, they, let's say, this was call for duty, and they join. But now mostly it's experts in cyber, and I should say that now we're at the stage of war, like on the technological stage. You see that drones, so high range missiles, which we have now. So I mean this, but army of drones is the new trend, yeah, because people who let's say on the front line, they tell that it's not a war of people, it's war of drones now, because from the Russian side, from our side, a lot of equipment and a lot of technologies used for drones, for impact drones and for the Katerina, sorry, разведка как будет? I didn't remember this word, so sorry.
No problem.
So surveillance.
Surveillance, yeah. And by the way, IT Ukraine associations, you can mention it because it's also interesting thing. I will give you one fact. So we just started a project with one of the famous singer, Andriy Vasyuk. His song Hey Hey Rise Up with Pink Floyd, you know. Pink Floyd
Yes.
issued this song after he's a pop star, yeah, and he's rock star, like Pan group. They have, but he took the gun, and now he's fighting on the front line. But he's now fighting with the drones, and we like IT Ukraine joined this together. We started projects to collect 20 million hryvnias for 10 drones Punisher. It's Ukrainian drones. Katerina, I will ask you, please, would you please share the link to our site and information? Maybe Brian will take this information, because now we're in the process of collecting these funds. Anyway, I mean, this is an example. We just react on the most actual and most important things, because just shooting with guns, it's not the way how to win this war. Yeah, it's technological war. So I mean, IT people is there as well, because we create software, we create some hardware and software for these drones, for other equipment, for other military purposes, because the military tech sector is now, say, we expect to be booming in Ukraine, because we have direct experience from the front line. We have direct, let's say, opportunities to how to say, in real life, we use these technologies and we improve these technologies according to the situation on the front line, etc., etc. So this is one of the aspects, and I should say that government, I do appreciate this. The government understands that it's important to use the technical and technical skills of IT people for these purposes, not just shooting from guns, you know. And that's why maybe the quantity of people who joined armed forces, like cyber forces and technical development of some technologies like drones, for example, yeah, I just mentioned, this is the way how they can join this, let's say, fight for our victory.
Yeah. So in addition to obviously fighting, you know, physically has tremendous pressures to it. I would imagine also that the IT people, maybe particularly in the cybersecurity side, are also facing a lot of pressures. Is there a risk of burnout? You seem to be in contact with a lot of people. How's your perception of how they're coping with the pressure of this situation?
So, of course, you know, if you speak about cybersecurity in general, it's a lot of things we cannot, how to say, share, yeah?
Yes, of course.
Because, but I give one example as usual, you know, speaking about this. So just check how many, let's say, attacks was successful against Ukraine for previous, let's say, months. Maybe we cannot say that it was successful from Russia, yeah, because we have strong defense, cyber defense, and again we have strong power to attack their resources as well, because a lot of initiatives like public cyber army, cyber front, but internally more professional and more deep, let's say, technologically, how to say, people who are very deep in very complicated issues and long-term say, strategies how to injure enemy. So this is the area where our most talented people work now. And about these successes, of course, we cannot speak, but we can see like in the mirror, no successful attacks from our enemy to us. It means that we are strong in this expertise, and the same, we're strong in the how to say, how to punish them and injure them. So, and in general, we have very good how to say, big potential in this topic.
Yeah.
What I know as well now, so a lot of development, research and development in automation of some equipment, like drone, army, and a lot of things very unique and very efficient.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing we were talking about last time was your resilience. You were talking about the Starlink network that you're using now. Is the resilience still there after this period of time? Has there been degradation there? You're maintaining that?
Yes, exactly. Starlink is one of the components, because when you have some drones, let's say you need to collect some informations and exchange, you need these channels, communication channels, and it's huge support and huge, how to say, positive impact on our efficiency on the front line due to Starlinks. What we have now, each day we have requests from so I don't know how many systems they have supplied. I've heard that about 10,000, more than 10,000 for Ukraine in general.
Yeah.
And some parts of this equipment were supplied to the front line, let's say near the areas injured or suffered from these bombings. But some of equipment works on the front line, and we have even one item. We have received it from the front line, directly from the front line. He was damaged and has some holes, from the let's say from explosions. And this Starlink were presented to our Minister of Digital Transformation, Mikhail Fedorov, for the, let's say, museum of some artifacts, which we have some things like for the museum, and they changed for another normal one, of course. And we have each day we have a lot of requests from military people. As we IT Ukraine associations, do you have any additional Starlinks? We need them. So, yeah. But in this program, we do not, how to say, we didn't purchase this equipment. We only distributed some lot of equipment which we received from Minister of Digital Transformation, and they received it from the United States, from Starlink company, and it was financed by government of the United States, as I know. So I mean, now it's huge impact, positive impact, and it shows like another, how to say, case how modern technologies can serve and save the lives of people. It's very important, yeah. And I mean, not speaking about the areas which is not directly on the front line, but let's say some missing social projects. Yeah, we should have connected these regions, problematic regions. So it also works perfectly.
Interesting. Last time you gave us a message as to what support you would appreciate. Clearly some of that's been happening. What would you give a message now for what you're looking for now? We're over 6 months into this situation.
Maybe the main challenges remain, and we need to continue our business. We need to continue our contracts, to have money and to pay taxes, to pay our donations, and of course, and also maybe we need to think about some social, how to say, we have several foundations which also care about social issues, like some people injured during this war, some people unfortunately disabled people became disabled people, yeah, and they need psychological so recover, and this is one of the, I say, thing which we need maybe expertise and some costs on the national level, and we like associations just support several programs where people can return to normal, more or less, let's say normal life, but return to the and maybe get new profession in IT as well. So I mean, we should think not about military part, but the social part, because a lot of people rotating, yeah, from military areas to more peaceful areas, but it's very hard for them to return to normal life, especially if they have been injured or got some problems with their health. So it's one of the aspects, but the main aspect is keep working and keep contracting companies with development centers in Ukraine, but because not, let's say, all the major market leaders, they have tens of offices, lots of offices outside Ukraine before the war, and now even more. So you will be, like, customer will be rather safe, because the picture, you know, customers see the huge, awful pictures, what is going on in Ukraine. But development offices not only in Ukraine, they are situated not in, you know, but the head offices as well. So I mean, some part of people working from Ukraine, from safer parts, some people working from America, from Germany, from Portugal, from other countries. So, but the picture still, like, that's why we develop in international activities this year, and we plan some offline, a lot of offline events abroad, together with the Ministry of External Affairs and together with Ministry of Digital Transformation, because we want to show up that Ukraine is not working only physically on Ukraine. Yeah, it's like a know-how which we use for all businesses remotely, and we grow in many areas and countries where it's, how to say, where it meets the needs of customers. So customers, we are ready to speak, and I just mentioned, yeah, the communication is important. We are ready to prove safety of business process and prove the safety of the delivery.
Cool. I've got two more questions for you. The first one's very, very specific. Just thinking about sanctions that other countries are putting in place. The restriction on the export of microchips to Russia for their use in their weapons and communications technology. Do you think that will be effective?
I think yes, of course. And recently, before our interview, I've noticed that Lithuania, yeah, they have confirmed, yeah, Latvia, they confirmed that Russia is a terrorist state, and they stop any visas issuing for Russians and Belarusian people. So it's just one first step, all from all the world. And the same in the sanctions. When we let's imagine 2 years ago, yeah, or 2014, when the Crimea was stolen from Ukraine, yeah, invaded. So this was the time for the sanctions, exact time, but that time was missed. Now we have 6th level of sanction, yeah, globally. Now they just globally discussion about 7th level. Of course, sanction works and they will affect, but it's not so fast. The effect will not be so fast, but it will be. And by no means, yes, this is important, and this will affect for economy of Russia, frankly speaking. So they're going down faster and faster, and in the one moment it will change everything and they will crash. But this moment can be quite, let's say, quite far from this moment.
Just a last thought about IT Ukraine Association, really, Konstantin. By and large, from your perspective, from the IT perspective, from the technology perspective, even despite the difficult situation, there seems to be a lot of plus points. Things have been going well from that perspective for you. That's the message I'm getting from you. Have you been surprised by that, by the level of resilience, by the support that you've been getting?
I'm way more surprised that this yes, of course, it's positive surprise, but we're more surprised like that this support is being continued, you know.
Yeah.
It's important because, you know, Russia makes some, how to say, they play very unfair always. Yeah, they play in the PR as well. So they say, so Western world will be so bothered by Ukrainian issues soon. So the world is so they want to get rid of these problems, yeah, because this support, of course, but it's long time and nothing changes. So and they put this in you know, in the media, even in United States media, because a lot of fight is going. Now we're surprised that we have such a lot of partners and such a lot of supporters, very fair and very pragmatic in the same time. So, and we have like a challenge to confirm our bravery, our resilience as well, because we will be the example. I'm speaking without any, how to say, we will be the example for other countries. We are now is example, Ukraine is an example, yeah, and we will be for history, for other countries, for other generations, how to be resilient in such unbelievably hard situation. So I mean, my surprise is that we have such a wide range of supporters, and they still support us. So let's see how it will go. But you know, the global recession, etc., because we're speaking about this as well some time. Yeah, but in general, I believe that IT will be in the center anyway, in the center of processes and the people. IT is the people. So I mean, this is the main value, because we are very flexible, and we shown this resilience because people are resilient.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for speaking to us again, Konstantin. We much appreciate that.
Thank you, Brian.
Diakuyu, is that correct? Diakuyu.
Дякую,
Yeah.
and each time, you know, we have a thing like Slava Ukraini, yeah, and Героям Slava. So it's two phrases which you also can easily pronounce. I mean, because Slava, it's easy.
Slava, yeah, I was trying to find thank you. You said, I just wanted to be a bit more personal.
yeah. I mean, of course, but I mean, yes, thank you for this. And Brian, we're always open for some updates, and of course we will share with you our next surveys and reports, because we are on the we work on some interesting reports, and of course they will be connected with a situation like this, but it's also will be the projection to the future, because we should think about future now in order to have this future.
Yeah, absolutely.